Last part of level 2's, then we're done. And a lot of the times kids think this is the easiest of the two. It says find the indicated angle measurement rounded to the nearest degree. So looking at the first one, again, this angle that we're talking about here, that's called theta. And we're going to still label my triangle A, O, and H. Identify the two sides that you have. Okay, could I find the hypotenuse? Of course I could find the hypotenuse. But in this case, you don't need to. All it's asking you to do is figure out how many degrees this angle is. And because the two sides that it's given us is A and O, that tells me I'm going to use tangent. So tangent of the angle measurement, I don't know, so I'm going to use theta. You can also use x, equals the opposite over the adjacent. Now, unlike before where we were multiplying or dividing, you can't necessarily divide by the word tan. Okay? It has no value with it unless it has a number. So instead, what you're going to do is you're going to take the inverse. The inverse looks like this. Tangent to the negative first, 14/48 over 48 equals theta, okay, or it equals x in this case. Okay, what that inverse does, it's just like the inverse operation. So when we talk about addition and subtraction, the inverse of addition is subtraction, the inverse of multiplication is division. That's the same thing with trig functions. They have to have an inverse. Okay, so to get that -1, you're going to hit second and then your normal tangent button. So you usually have tan -1 up there with a parentheses. Then you hit 14 divided by 48. Then hit enter. I got 16.26. And let's see, round it to the nearest degree. So this equals 16.26. This 2 keeps that 16 where it's at. So it'll just be 16 degrees. Okay, B. Again, label your triangle AOH according to the angle that you're asked to find. Identify the sides that you have. And figure out, are you going to use sine? Are you going to use cosine? Or are you going to use tangent based on the sides that you're given? In this case, I think we're going to use cosine. So cosine theta or cosine x equals the adjacent over the hypotenuse. And no need to simplify because your calculator will do it for you. Okay, so hit second cosine. 6 divided by 12. You get 60 exactly. All right, last one. Okay, angle AOH. Sides that I have are O and H. Tells me that I should use sine. So sine of the angle equals the opposite over the hypotenuse. To solve for theta, I hit the inverse. Second sine, 15 over 17. And you get 61.9, so we'll call that 62. Okay, I know that was long. That's a lot of level 2s. Remember, half of it is review, the other half is the new part. So just to kind of differentiate between the two, finding the missing side length, you're going to set up an equation. So you have a trig function followed by the degree equals, okay, either O over H or A over H or O over A, okay, depending on what trig function that you have. And then if the variable is on the top, You're going to multiply if variable is on the bottom. You're going to want to divide. And then last one over here, finding the missing angle measurements. So you're still going to label your triangle AO and H. You're going to figure out what sides you have. And really you do this for both finding the angle and finding the side lengths. Then determine trig function. Sine, cosine, tangent to use. Then you're going to use second sine, cosine, or tangent. To solve this. Okay. So, two different things. So this is why we learn trig, so we can actually find values of this. Practice it, learn it, make sure that you're using calculators and you're in degree mode, not radians.